My people, what's going on? So today on YouTube, I'm giving you 3 animals that I think that you should start your homestead with. If you want to be homesteaders, this is a great video for you to watch. I'm not only going to tell you 3 animals that I think are just good homestead animals, I'm going to tell you the reason why, and we also own these animals. So I think I'm a good source to listen to with this. Now, all 3 of these animals, I'm suggesting them because they're low maintenance animals. Meaning they don't take a lot to care for. It doesn't take a lot of money to care for them. It doesn't take a lot of money to house them and keep them happy and safe. You know, so that's how they made this list. And I'm also going to give you 3 animals that are very highly beneficial for your homestead. So whether it's you want to produce food and farm to table and just overall productive animals, you know what I'm saying? So first thing I will tell you is that farming and homesteading, the difference between the two, right? So I call us farmsteaders because we kind of a merge of the two. But the difference between homesteading and farming is, one, you live on the property. When you're a homesteader, most likely you live on the same property that you keep your animals and that you garden and do everything else on, right? Another difference is farmers usually produce animals or raise animals, and they also garden, usually to sell. They're creating a product that they want to sell to the local community or commercially, however you decide to do it. So the reason I call what we do farmsteading is because we kind of do some of both. Like, we mainly are homesteaders. We mainly produce everything that on this property for us. But there are times where we have an overflow of items and we sell it to the public. Let's get right into it. The last animal is my favorite. So stay tuned, stay in this video and wait till the last. Y'all can pretty much guess the first animal by now, huh? But it's actually a chicken or chickens, right? Let me grab one. Let me get you up close and personal. Maybe I should have showed y'all that. But the first animal is a chicken. Yeah, I'll see that. Everybody know what a chicken look like. Chickens, not number 1 on this list. They're number 1. I'm actually going in reverse order. So relax, relax. The pros of owning chickens is that you get eggs. That's like the number 1 pro. Most of us grab chickens or buy chickens and raise chickens for the purpose of eggs. So chickens was actually the start of our homesteading and farming journey because we decided to buy chickens one day, and chickens are the gateway drug of animals, people. If you didn't know, that's what they call the chicken math for, because once you get chickens, you could want 4, but you will end up with 40 eventually. So the reason chickens are on this list is because it's like the go-to homesteading animal. Everybody pretty much starts off with chickens for the most part. So behind me right here is one of our chicken coops. This is actually what we call a hoop coop. Some people use it as a chicken tractor. It has wheels on the back of it. You can pick it up and kind of move it around. A lot of people raise meat chickens in it, and this is my go-to style of coop. Reason being, I can walk in it. I don't have to squat down in it. I can put the nesting boxes in it. I can put the roosting bars in it, and everything in it I can put how I want it in there, and then I can actually walk in. It's easily accessible. It's very easy for me to get in and collect eggs. I don't have to crawl up under nothing, duck, squat. And a lot of chicken coops that you may buy from stores, they're not made for humans to walk in them, right? Unless you build your own custom made. So these are, but the reasons chickens are on this list is because you don't need something this big to keep chickens. Chickens are great animals if you want a free range. You don't even need a fenced yard if you want to get chickens. Let me take you to some of our other chickens. Come with me. So this is like a great entry-level chicken coop right here. This coop right here can comfortably hold 3 or 4 chickens. And right now we have silkies in them. They're a smaller breed of chickens. So I think we have 5 of them in there. But if you have some pretty big chickens, only about 3 or 4 of them will fit in here comfortably. But the great thing about chickens are you can give them a run. You can build onto this coop. You can give them an area to walk around in so they can scratch and peck like they naturally love doing. Like this chicken right here is doing behind this fence. That's how they love to naturally eat, scratching and pecking. Chickens love sleeping up high. So you need you a roosting bar. And the reason they sleep up high is because they want to get away from predators. They feel safer when they're up high. Another thing you need for chickens, of course, is water, and I got to fill that one up. The last thing you absolutely need for chickens is a nesting area. So in this coop, we have 3 nesting boxes, and that is the area where they decide to lay the eggs at. They have to feel comfortable. They have to feel safe to lay your eggs. So chickens are very, very simple and easy animals to start with. You give them those 3 things, which is a roosting bar, area to lay the eggs, which will be a nesting box, and a coop. a coop. And a coop don't necessarily have to be like the one behind me that I just showed you. Let me show you another option of a coop. People, this is my very first coop. And it is just a dog run. And this is what I use, and we still have it to this day. It's a little patched up. I have a roof on it to keep the predators out as far as birds and predators flying over. It's not the safest coop. It's not the ideal coop, but it works extremely well. Inside this coop, I have little items like this tunnel for them to run around in and play in and get in and feel safe. They have water in here. They have food in there. And then we have these little makeshift homemade boxes used as the nesting pad. And then we also have this branch right here used as a roosting bar. As long as you keep the chickens clean, keep them some fresh water, keep them fed, then you good to go. They take care of themselves, people. So with chickens, they don't cost a lot to feed because they eat one thing, and you can also feed them scraps from in the house. So that's what we do. We feed them scraps, table scraps, just no salt. So we don't get them a lot of salty meats. But if you have vegetables and rice and other things that you ate, salads and different things like that, or if you even have like old cabbage, we put it on a string, hang it in there, and they'll pick at it. You know what I'm saying? So chickens are probably the cheapest to feed out of all three of the animals that we're talking about today, because like I said, you can feed them a lot of scraps from right in the house, and outside of that, they all eat pelletized food. And you can grab their food in big 40, 50 pound bags, and depending on how many chickens you have, food lasts a long time. We give our chickens food in bigger feeders, so we only having to feed chickens like once a week, and sometimes only once every 2 weeks, depending on how much they decide to eat, or also depending on how much scraps that we give them for that week. So chickens are extremely cheap to feed, and it doesn't require a lot. And same thing with water. You give them a lot of water at once, and you don't have to give them water every single day. So they don't require a lot of maintenance, basically, people. That's where we're going with that. So you can have 6 to 10 chickens, and you can spend less than like $50, $60 a month feeding those chickens. And they also require calcium and grit in their diet. The calcium is for them to have stronger eggs. So once they begin laying eggs, it's good to supplement them with calcium at all times, and that's not expensive. And they also need grit, and that's just like little rocks and little pieces of rocks in the soil. So we have to supply that to them if they're not free range chickens, and that helps them break down their food in their digestive system so they can live and have a proper lifestyle. So like I said, you can have 6 to 10 chickens and only spend $50, $60 a month taking care of them, which is awesome, which is great, and that's why they're on this list. So animal number 2 is in this cage right here behind me, and it's some in this cage right here, and then we have another little small cage over here. But animal number 2 requires very minimum space. Way less space than chickens. Animal number 2 also makes way less noise than chickens. So without further ado, let's meet animal number 2. And that's the very high energetic quail. So quail are a great alternative to chickens. If you want eggs and you want birds for meat, then quail are great options for you outside of a chicken. These are Coturnix quail right here. That's what I decided to raise, and they produce meat fairly fast. They produce eggs fairly fast. And we're talking 6 to 8 weeks, people. In 6 to 8 weeks, you can grow a quail from hatchling all the way up to mature size to process them for meat or receive eggs. So quail are great for people who don't have a lot of space, because they don't require a lot of space. And the reason being is because quail are ground dwelling animals. Another thing is quail don't care to fly. They only fly when they're startled. So that's why having a small enclosure is actually beneficial when you're keeping quail, because when they get startled, they fly straight up, and they can fly up 6 feet. And if you have, like, let's just say like a 4 foot tall enclosure, quails can fly straight up when they startle, and they can break their neck and they die. So it's actually more beneficial to either have a smaller, shorter space for quail to be housed in, or have a larger, so when they actually fly up out of being scared, they don't break their own necks. Quail are a great option if you want healthy eggs. Quail eggs are packed with protein. They have more protein than chicken eggs. This picture right here that you see up is a picture of quail eggs. They produce very small eggs, and it takes 3 quail eggs to equal 1 chicken egg. But the great thing about it is, like I said, they produce eggs in 6 to 8 weeks. Chickens, you have to wait 4, 5, or 6 to 8 months. You know what I'm saying? So quail are a terrific option. They don't have as much personality like chickens. Chickens are fun to watch sometimes, but they're still a terrific option if you're into homesteading and you want to produce meat. They're extremely easy to process, people. Extremely easy to process, people. I can process, let's just say 5 quail in maybe about 10 minutes or less, versus 5 chickens may take me an hour with no machinery. That's just with me doing everything by hand pretty much. So quail are great. That's the number 2 animal on this list. And if I had to make a decision between quail and chicken, my heart tells me to go with chickens, but if I had to make a business decision, quail would probably be the pick because, like I said, less space, less maintenance. They don't make a lot of noise. They produce eggs in 6 to 8 weeks, and you can also process them for meat in 6 to 8 weeks. So overall, quail will probably have to win for me, but chickens are just one of my favorites. So quail need a very high protein diet. They're considered a game bird. They need high protein diet because they grow at a fast rate. And if you want them to lay eggs consistently, they have to have a high protein diet. So we get a game bird feed, and that game bird feed we get for about $25 to $26, I want to say, give or take. We have approximately 20 quail, and that bag of feed can last pretty much all month almost. Sometimes we have to buy it a little sooner, but you're looking at about a big bag of feed for about a month, and that's pretty dang on good when it comes to feeding quail and what you can actually get from it. The downside of quail is that they're very messy. Quail are very messy, so you would like to, we use feeders like this. Let me show you. We use these type of feeder for our quail, and it allows them to only put their head in to eat the food out, and that way they can't scratch all the food out, because quail are extremely messy and they cost you a lot of money when you don't have feeders like this, or you can make your own, that they can only kind of put their head in and eat the food. If you allow them to, they will scratch up all the food and they're gonna make a huge mess out of it, and then you're buying more food and you're spending more money. So with all of these animals, a proper setup, it don't have to be an expensive setup, but a proper setup is always gonna help benefit you when it comes to the cost of caring for them each month for things like this. You don't wanna waste feed, because that's really all you're buying to take care of these animals. So you don't wanna waste the feed. So before we get to this third animal, people, I gotta tell you all once again, for one, I appreciate everybody who's been on this journey with us. And secondly, if you're new to this journey, if this is the first time for you seeing one of our videos, please subscribe to the channel because that helps us out a lot. And if this video helps you, or even if it didn't help you answer any questions, if it gave you a little bit more knowledge than you once had, then give us a thumbs up. I told you in the beginning of this video that this third animal was not only, I think, the most beneficial animal for you on your homestead, but it's also one of my favorite animals on the homestead. And reason being because not only is it low maintenance like the other 2 options, it's quiet like quail. They don't take a lot at all, like I said, low maintenance, and they don't require a large coop like birds. And in my opinion, you get so much more bang for your buck than you may do with quail and chicken. And the last animal for me on this list, which will be number 1 on the list for myself, are rabbits. So the reason I put rabbits on this list, and the reason I say it's my favorite animal on this list, and I think the most beneficial on this list, are for a lot of different reasons, and I'm about to give them to you right now. So first and foremost, the same with chicken and the same with quail is they're low maintenance. They don't require a lot. They don't require a lot to feed them. They don't require a lot to care for them or to house them. The second reason that they're on this list, and probably number 1 reason why they're on this list, is because rabbits produce the best fertilizer from any animal outside of an alpaca for your garden. I'm sorry. And their fertilizer is also cold manure and cold fertilizer, and that just means that I can take rabbit manure directly from the rabbit and put it directly into my garden, and I don't have to risk it being too strong and burning my plant or transferring any diseases like E. coli or salmonella like chicken manure may do if you try to use that directly to your garden without composting it first. And that's a huge plus, people. So when you're homesteading, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be growing food at some point. a lot of people start off with gardens and transition over into homesteading because growing the food is a skill, and it's one of those skills that you will never go wrong with, right? And when it comes to growing food, you will learn about fertilizers. And when you learn about fertilizers and you want an organic garden, you will probably end up with some rabbits. And if you don't use it for your own garden, you can sell it. So that's why they're also extremely beneficial, because a lot of people love rabbit manure for their garden. So you can make a pretty nice income selling rabbit. Another reason is that they're quiet. You know, on this list, quail are quiet and rabbits are quiet. Chickens are a little noisy. So if you're in a neighborhood that you can't own chickens, you can own rabbits 9 times out of 10. And since they make a little noise, not much, and you'll rarely hear them make noise, but they can make a little noise, but it's not loud at all. Your neighbor won't hear it. I'm not telling you to sneak rabbits. I'm just saying, if you wanted to get some animals to start homesteading, that rabbits are extremely quiet. So this is one of our rabbit hutches, and that's another one. And basically along this fence line, we have a few different rabbit hutches. This is a big dog cage that I made a rabbit hutch into, and that's how easy they are to care for. This rabbit is happy no matter what nobody want to say. So these hutches like these two, I actually built this one, and I used a bunch of repurposed wood, and we used some roofing from an old chicken coop, and I built this hutch right here. And this hutch right here is for our pregnant does. Oh no, on video. So this is actually one of our new mothers right here. She's a lion-head rabbit, and you see her babies down there eating, and she's looking for me to give her some food right now. But on this homestead, we have rabbits for 2 different reasons. People, we have pets and we have meat. Now that's why rabbits are so beneficial on the homestead, because you can source them so many different ways, if I'm saying that right? You can use rabbits for so many different things. You can use them for pets. You can use them for petting zoos if that's something you're into. Children love rabbits, so that's a source of income right there. You can use them for their manure, like I said. And rabbits have litters back to back if you allow them to. It only takes rabbits 30 days from the day that they breed to deliver babies. And that's pretty quick. And not only that, they also can have from like 5 to 8 or 9 babies, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere up there, right? So with the baby rabbits, you can sell them if you want to create you a source of income. And if you have meat rabbits like we do as well, and I'll show you some of those in 1 second, but you have meat, you're producing meat for your family, and rabbits also can grow pretty fast as well. So in 6 to 8 weeks, you can process these rabbits and you have meat, and it's a very great source of proteins. Trust me, people, this is my #1 choice. I think you should get rabbits before you get chicken. Meat rabbits. These are meat rabbits right here. Meat rabbits grow larger and faster than other rabbits, which you may consider pets. You can eat any rabbit, whether it's a pet or a meat rabbit. You can eat any rabbit, but the difference between a meat rabbit and a rabbit that we would consider a pet is their growth rate and meat to bone ratio. So meat rabbits grow pretty fast. These rabbits right here, which are lop-ear rabbits. These are amazing pets. People love them. They're very soft. They're very friendly. They're very docile. These are our pet rabbits. We sell some to people that may want pet rabbits. I give away a lot of them as well. And the benefit of a pet rabbit and a meat rabbit is they all have the same manure. So we can still use all the manure for the garden. We feed our rabbits pellets. We feed our rabbits hay 24/7. You have to give them hay 24/7. And you can also give them green grass. You can also give leafy greens from collard greens and spinach and things of that. They do not have an expensive diet, but their diet is a little bit more complex than the chickens or the quail, because they do require a little bit of leafy greens and a little bit of pellets and hay pretty much at all times. The most difficult part about keeping rabbits, if I had to say what was difficult about them, is you have to keep them hydrated. You want to keep them with water at all times, especially in summer months and especially in places that get extremely hot, because rabbits are very prone to heat strokes in the heat. And we've lost a lot of rabbits when I first started keeping rabbits because I didn't know that. If you in most of America, then you definitely want to keep rabbits in a shady area. That's why we got them up against this fence, because this is one of the most shady areas in our yard. And you want to keep them water at all times. We also have a water system that we just ordered for Amazon, and that would allow me to use like 5-gallon buckets or big water barrels. And I'm gonna mount them up like somewhere next to this fence, so that way they will have water at all times. Because as it's getting hotter out here in Georgia, we don't want to risk losing any more rabbits than we already lost. So my people, if you're interested in homesteading, if you're considering starting to be homesteaders and you don't have a lot of space for one, all 3 of these animals are still a great option for you. You know, goats and sheep, you need a little bit more space. You don't have to have a huge yard for any of these animals. You don't have to own land for any of these animals, and you don't need high fences for any of these animals to be secure. If this video was interesting to you, if it helped you to know anything that you didn't know once before, if it helps you decide on what animals you want to start your homestead with, make sure you please leave us a like. I hope I helped you make a decision today with what animals you should start your homestead with. And if you was kind of on the edge with any of them, leave a comment below and I'll make a video talking more about each animal specifically, if that's something that you would need. And that's something we probably gonna do anyway. So thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for joining the journey with us. And my people, our season is here, and I hope to see y'all on the next video.